Certainly, we're talking about Bab el-Mandeb, an area where the Iranians could use the Houthis in Yemen to block international maritime transport. They have already threatened to do this if there is a blockade of their ports near the Strait of Hormuz. In the past, we've seen the Houthis getting directly involved in this conflict, and Brian, we've talked about this before. It's concerning that Iran uses the Houthis to attack ships in the Red Sea with missiles or drones.
All right, let's start with Operation Epic Fury. In less than 3 hours, the EOA will begin a naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz after the failure of peace negotiations with Iran over the weekend.
Tom Linson is in Pakistan, where the negotiations took place. He joins us now. Hello, Lucas. Thank you, Lucas.
Good morning, Inslee. Good morning, everyone. The negotiations in Islamabad over the weekend were the highest level meeting between Ziwa and Iran in 50 years. And the Vice President JD offering what his officials call a final offer to the Iranians with some red lines. The proposal was taken to Tehran. Maybe President Trump will increase the pressure, saying he will block Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz if they don't reach an agreement. Yesterday, Maria Bartiromo interviewed the president.
The proposal, I would say, is holding up well. Their armed forces have been destroyed. Their entire navy is completely submerged. Did you know that? 158 ships lost. The Navy is gone. As you know, tomorrow at 10 o'clock we'll have a blockade. It will be 10 o'clock tomorrow. Other nations are working to prevent Iran from selling oil, and this will be effective. No, okay.
Guys, 10 a.m. Eastern, about 3 hours until the blockade, right? Central Command states that the blockade will be applied equally to vessels from all nations entering or leaving Iranian ports and coastal areas in the ports of the Arabian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. CENTCOM forces certainly will not impede navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, a direct message to the Gulf states. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran responded sharply. Despite enemy claims, the strait is open to non-military ships under our management according to specific regulations. While they seek to avoid war, negotiations are ongoing with the date and location yet to be determined, folks. Over the weekend, 2 EWAS destroyers crossed the Strait of Hormuz after Vance concluded 21 hours of meetings with the Iranians. Sources tell Fox that the final offer includes 6 red lines, among them Iran must stop uranium enrichment. Many of the Gulf states use overland pipelines to transport oil, like in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, where I was last month. Pipelines are not operating at full capacity. They want this to end. Let's face political reality. Gas prices in the United States have already risen more than 40% from what they were before the war. Both the United States and Iran seek an end to the war, and negotiations will resume later. Gulf states like Saudi Arabia and the Emirates use overland pipelines. They are not operating at full capacity. They want to get this done, but the local political reality must be faced. Gasoline prices in the United States are more than 40% higher than they were at the start of the war. The United States and Iran are seeking a way out of this conflict, and negotiations will continue later.
Okay, thank you very much. We're just hours away from that now. Donald Trump said that the blockade will start at 10 a.m. It's 5:30 p.m. Iran time. That means blocking Iranian ports and coastal areas. Iran responded with threats to ports in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. And they are saying this on television. The Iranian state broadcaster claims that no port in the region will be safe.
Well, if they are going to do this and control the strait in this way, then everyone will suffer. If this is going to become a global market, then globally everyone will have to suffer. I hope that China and Russia, as a result of this, and maybe even Japan, because they should be our allies, but by the way, they're not helping either, will call the Iranians and say, open it up for everyone. But, as Brian said, they laid all these mines, and because they're so incompetent in everything they do, they don't even know where the mines are. This gives the president the opportunity to give our armed forces, our soldiers, a break so they can return to the battlefield.
Can we sweep the entire strait?
Brian, sure, the British are now sending great minesweepers, but since they're defenseless and have flat bottoms, we need to ensure their full protection. What we have is the best of both worlds. We're sending armed ships to the strait. I love the message. We're in the middle of negotiations with them during the ceasefire. So we send 2 destroyers to clear the mines, and they say you shouldn't pass through here, but we're going to go through anyway. And guess what? They didn't hit any mines. That gives the green light for barges and supertankers to say, you know, maybe we'll do it, but now nobody goes through. I mean, that's the ultimate trump card. It completely changed the game. We're going to decide who gets in and make them pay extortion money. Wait, nobody gets in or out. And who's going to pay the price first? He says, if you can and you have oil, then send it to Texas. Come here, you can lie down. Want some? Take it. We also have natural gas. Maybe you want to go that way. And China? I want to see the first Chinese ship arrive empty looking for oil.
All right.
And they tell you that you can't come in. That's when China puts pressure on Iran saying, change things.
And no, I think it will be next month that our president will meet with President Xi. So if this isn't resolved by then, we'll have an interesting conversation in person.
The strait has to be open. There's no need to charge the ships. It's impossible. We need enriched uranium. We must prevent them from developing intercontinental ballistic missiles. We've destroyed most of their navy. Many ships have sunk in the Strait of Hormuz. There was success here, and the ultimate goal was to prevent them from having nuclear weapons.
Right. I know it's difficult, but if you listen to almost 90% of the comments, it sounds like we're losing. Fool! We totally destroyed a country that can't even communicate with itself. In 10 days, there's a 2-week ceasefire. We analyzed what was left, but they have 32 separate command structures. They couldn't even communicate with all 32. They're going to keep launching rockets until they see there's no resupply. Before the war, they lacked water. They have a worthless currency. That was before the war started. What do you think they're doing now? Think about it. A large number of their leaders are already dead.